My Owwll LinkedIn. You're doing
We'll
my
send
LinkedIn.
it to you afterwards.
Yeah.
That's why I want to ask you. Yeah, we never talked about that.
I don't have a podcast.
No, we have
or
StreamYard. We'll send it to you.
You could reshare technically in the middle of the feed. What?
Do you want her to
Hey guys, we are live here on the Owwll Podcast.
Hey,
y'all.
We are
been a
jumping
while.
right into things. We got Ellie Santra, my co-host on this show. We have a big day today. It is the launch of Owwll 2.0. We are announcing it everywhere on social media. And of course, get into the Owwll app today. Just go to the App Store and of course, just update your app. It's that easy. And ready for this, we just unlocked 6,000 profiles, right? Because before today, when you downloaded Owwll, you had to upgrade to become an expert. You had to pay $10 to receive calls and have a profile. Not anymore. Today, everybody has a profile. The second they download Owwll, they get most of the features.
So just make sure that once you do your update, there are a little bit of some tacky things. So you might want to delete the app and re-download it. And then it'll really work. But once you do that, make sure that you add a picture to your profile. That's super important. A professional, good picture. Fill out.
That's important in life, though. Time out. Nothing to do with Owwll right now. Like in life, like if you have an Instagram photo, LinkedIn photo, like what's going on out there? I was 10 seconds, even if you don't have a good photo, throw it up in an AI.
I was scrolling through yesterday and like requesting people to go live that I wanted to talk to because there are so many new people, and the ones without a photo, no, next. They're not getting my money. No, if the photo is not professional, I don't even want to call them. So just make sure you have a good photo up there. Make sure that you are filling out your bio with questions that people can ask you on a call. It's important. If people are going to spend the money to call you, they want to know like, why, what am I getting out of this? So just make sure it's all filled out and you're good to go. But let's start. So
we haven't done this in a long time.
Yeah, no.
With all these new call-in shows that we've been having, we've taken a break.
Yeah, we're rusty. I'm rusty.
I have my other podcast, The Shrimp Tag, so I do shows every single week. But you, on the other hand, you have really taken a break.
I took the summer off.
You did.
Summer vacation.
Where have you been?
I don't know. I've been around. But
Burning Man.
Yeah, not this year, Burning Man, but that was last year. I've just been, trying to get more followers on social media. So everyone follow me at Ellie Santra. I'm trying to go on a music tour, trying to get my life together.
Are you playing the social media lottery over here? I feel like it's like the lottery. Everyone just keeps throwing the dice every time.
I know. I'm just like, how do I get followers?
I don't know. Anyone picking up on the odds here? Like how hard it is? And like apps like Owwll exist where you could just create genuine relationships through one-on-one phone calls.
I know. It really is. Everything I've gotten, every gig I've gotten, everything for my business has been like just relationships. It's not really social media, but that's a whole nother conversation. Different day. We're going to get to our ladies here. So excited to have you guys on. We actually met at Sandy Glantz event. Sandy was on our podcast a while back. And then I got to go to her event and I met these amazing ladies there. So we have Amanda Mawer here and Jenna Quinter. And they are actually going to be doing an event this Friday, and tickets are still available. So I'm going to let them talk about their event that's local here in South Florida. So if you guys want to share a little bit about what that is.
Of course. I don't know if you want to go into the details.
Yeah, you can go.
She's always like, you talk.
Okay. Well, confidenceandcharity.com is where you can find us. Amanda, you can
take it away.
Yeah.
So this event is meant for women in business. We have a lot of entrepreneur friends and relationships that we want them to come together and support each other and build that community. So this event is all for social media content. And then we also have speakers that are coming in, and they're going to talk about different niches, whether they're in real estate, finance, beauty, coaching. They have their own mastermind program. So a bunch of different leading industry experts. And the main goal is to just form connections with other women in business, because I feel like that's really lacking. There's a lot of mastermind events where it's very male dominated, and not necessarily male dominated. There's a lot of women out there now, but it's very alpha energy. It's very, I need to learn something and take something. And I'm very much for getting that tactical business advice that you can walk away with implement. I mean, we're doing that at our event. So you can't get away from that. However, it's just not about connecting on like that personal level. I feel whenever I've gone to events, it's me talking with a bunch of men about who they know, how much money they make, what their business is. And I'm just like, that's great.
Yeah.
I can't really connect with you anymore. Like, especially if it's not even something I'm interested in, right? It could be like crypto or something, which
oh God.
Nothing against that,
crypto,
but
I can't.
It's those conversations.
No more crypto conversations.
That's what makes me sad. I can't come to this event.
Please.
I'm locked out. Oh no.
So
Jason's always at like the all women events.
Well, I sneak into
because he
Owwll.
gets invited, and then he's
have
like, "Hey, but you get along."
We have a lot of communities on Owwll, like Sisterhood for Success. With
She
runs TEDx Boca Raton. I love these type of events.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get a pass.
Yeah.
My wife's not exactly happy about it, but I get a pass for business wise.
Anyway, continue. Sorry.
No, so all of the proceeds are going to a charity called Love Inspiring Life. Their 4 pillars are focused on investigating and rescuing of victims of sex trafficking. And then they also do, once they do the rescue, there's kind of two parts with that. So the first is the immediate care of the girls, because most of these victims are between the ages of like 9 and 13. So the aftercare, and then obviously long-term developmental, going through counseling and setting them up for success long-term. So
wow. So
charity is amazing.
Yeah. So it sounds like, well, I'm super excited to go, but it sounds like, the ticket I think is 100, right?
It's donations because it's 100% proceeds.
Oh, okay.
So $100 donation to come.
Yeah.
And
exactly. So it's like, you're not just like, one, you're getting things out of it. You're getting content, you're getting connections, but you know that your money is also going to a good cause, which is amazing. So
we try to like throw a bunch of stuff together to provide as much value as we can. This is our first event, so we're like, what can we do to make a big impact?
And Justin Price is one of our photographers from Platinum Elite Studios, and normally, he charges probably around $600 for his photo shoots, and he's gifting that to the attendees so they get branded photos when they walk away. So it's a content studio.
Yeah,
but it's also a day about connection and charity, and you get to walk away with some new content and new connections. So
and a lot of our sponsors are donating, their books, or they have nutritional bars.
Yeah, FroPro is one of our sponsors. He's local. Michael, have y'all ever had him?
Yeah, Matt Williams.
Oh yeah, Matt.
Yes.
Oh my goodness,
he's been on our podcast.
Mom brain.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we love FroPro.
And his wife too is amazing. She's very inspiring.
Yeah.
So
cool.
We should invite her.
I tagged her in our post.
Good.
So
I definitely am like, I have like 100 people I want to invite now that I really know what it is.
Honestly, like the more people, if you want to invite them, more than welcome to come. And at this point, like if somebody can't donate $100, we get that could be a big ask for some people. You just want to show up and donate as much as you can, whether that's 10, 20, 30, 40, $50.
That's awesome.
Just a donation in general to come, because we
I like
show
that
as much support
I
as
feel
we
like
can.
sometimes it's like, I struggle with that sometimes, where I'm like, okay, I'm a musician, whatever. And like, I want to go to these things, and can I donate my time instead? Or is there another way? Like, because I like that you're creating that opportunity, especially when you are like single woman entrepreneur, and like all my money is like going into my business. So sometimes it's hard to like justify, like, is this event going to be like, am I going to make the connections? Is going to be worth it to spend that money? So, we're allowing that opportunity. It sounds like this is worth it, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, we're very committed to like, you're going to walk away with either another business collaboration, a connection. You're going to be on someone's podcast. Like, we are very, very focused about the collaboration and the networking part. And also, even if what we're telling everybody, even if they're not getting clients, like they're meeting their girl group. Like, I always go to events looking for my business bestie. Sandy Plant is all about that too.
That's how we met.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, we're alike in every way. Like sisters.
It's
crazy.
Honestly,
Even down to like what we prefer in our coffee.
Yeah, I know. I was like, hazelnut or both.
How we are with our husbands.
Now we're on to the important conversation, the coffee talk.
Yeah.
It's all about the different syrups from Starbucks.
I mean,
all coffee
pumpkin spice.
One thing that we learned this morning about each other is we make our husbands give us 6-second kisses. Like, no 4 seconds, no looking away when you're kissing me, no like pecks on the cheek. Like, you're going to give me a proper kiss for 6
Mhm.
seconds.
It was just
Mhm.
funny that you even mentioned that because I
know.
was just implemented that probably like 6 months ago. So we must have watched the same
Instagram
Yeah.
video, like
Of course, that's where it's at.
I'm trying to think of the guy that I watch all the time. There's a podcast on like all the intimacy. I'm still single, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, so when I manifest my future man, this is like what I need. I love those videos.
I made a list. I met my husband on an app. And,
Really?
Yep. On an app.
Wow.
I've been really hating on the apps lately, so
No, the app is
You
I'm
just
like,
said really like shocking. It's like I feel
I know, I'm like,
50%
really?
is
'Cause
on
I
the
don't-
apps.
I made a list
hate those
of
lists.
what I
Yeah.
wanted, and I put some like kind of funny stuff in there.
Yeah.
And then still to this day, he's the same person that I created on that list.
Oh wow.
Aw, I love that.
Yeah, that's I do
So-
have a list. I feel like a lot of people have a list.
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like you need to tell her what
We'll
app
see.
you used.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I know. I'm like, what?
Another conversation.
Maybe later after the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want hers to come from Owwll. It'll be hilarious.
I
Calls
know.
a
would
random
be
guy an
incredible.
Owwll. And you did have
know.
it.
You
That's like
could.
the
I
ultimate
did-
Maybe a date or
testimony.
two, I think.
I did do one, but there were some red flags.
Business bestie.
Yeah,
and
well, because
dating.
I
Now
just
you
like
just called him out. You got to say I did 10, and then that
I
individual.
mean, yeah,
no.
some I did some. But I think like that that would be amazing. We always joke that we need Owwll after dark, which will be like
Oh.
during the
that'll be
day
good.
it's networking, and then
Hey,
at
hey.
night it's like the dating app.
All the
The
juicy
exclusive.
stories.
We wanted to
Yeah.
make it an exclusive dating app. We have that's for later.
Isn't it like a full moon tonight or something?
Okay, last night
Wow.
because I
So-
was up at 2
Oh.
a.m. messaging my friend, like, why are we still awake? And then she was like, I think it's a full moon.
Uh-huh.
And it
That's
was.
so interesting.
And I had no idea.
I was literally up until 2 a.m. too.
Same
And
here.
I'm like,
God, that's why
what?
everyone's
Like
drinking their
3.
coffee right now.
My neighbor next door was up till 4, and I'm like, where am
What?
I? I'm not even in
Oh.
Miami. I'm in Royal Palm Beach.
Oh my God. Well, your event is in Miami, right? I don't
Yeah.
know if we said that.
Uh-huh.
It's in South Beach? Or-
Correct.
okay.
yeah. So if
She
people
talked
know
about
the area,
studio too. It's amazing.
yeah. So the location, if people know the area, it's on Collins and 12th.
Okay.
So that gives you approximate area.
is there
but the-
parking? That's
Yeah,
the Miami struggle.
That's
Oh,
struggle.
should I just
so
take the bright line?
there's a parking garage nearby, and
Okay.
then the Park Mobile, like parallel parking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everywhere.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's just finding a spot.
Yeah.
Usually within front of the building, because it's more of it's a bunch of offices. It's not like a plaza or anything. It's still right on Washington. Well, it's not in Collins. Sorry, it's on Washington.
Yeah.
But it's about 50% open
Okay.
most of the time, and then there's
Cool.
parking in the back. Again, it's the beach, so it's very like depending on the time of day.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure.
oh, you wanted to know? Oh, so the content studio is actually owned by my husband. He just opened it, and it's called Pop Studios. I think the Instagram handle is Pop Studio Florida,
Okay.
like FL.
Yeah.
And we have an office space that we converted into a bunch of different rooms, and they're all themed. So
Oh my
he
gosh.
has like the coolest man cave one. He has a Barbie room. He has one that looks like black and gold Versace. He has a
This is
more
amazing.
beige, like sandy type color room, and it has that viral, the curved arches for
Mm.
the offices and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it has, I think it's a marble desk. It could be a wood desk. I can't quite remember.
Wow, that's such
and
a good
then
idea.
His favorite, which I'm honestly like, it's pretty cool. In the Barbie room, there's a secret wall. It's a bookcase that if you push the bookcase open,
obsessed
goes
already.
into this like exploding games room is the best way I could describe it. He has Mario, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter.
oh my
What are
God.
some of the like
My daughter's
manly,
obsessed
like
with
all
Mario.
the
We're gonna be
Like,
Mario and Peach.
I don't
for
know. I
Halloween,
can't even
think.
think right now. I'm like,
there's like I don't know 10 different video game.
do they
themes and
have the
console, and he
actual
has
video games in there?
Zelda?
Or is it
Oh,
Is
he
there
has
Zelda?
Zelda. That's one of them. He has
know, I'm like-
entire bookcases in the entire room, and it's all filled. Oh, Toy Story is one of them. Of like
my
all the different themed
that's
like
so cool.
guy stuff growing up.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he has a massive TV with all these LED lights, and then you know how you have those
Pac-Man?
cloud ceilings? We have like the spray glue, and you
Oh,
put
yeah.
the pillow fluff on it. So he has that all over, and
Oh my God,
like
that's
lights
amazing.
inside the clouds.
I haven't
mean,
seen
it's
it yet.
I
I'm
need to bring like
excited.
a bunch of outfits now that I know what this is.
Bring
I'm
your
like, because
tripods,
I was a
your
little bit like
mics.
where I'm like, I don't want to take business pictures because I'm an artist and I'm a musician. I need like
No,
fun things.
this
be
is very
amazing.
fun.
Now that I know what this is, I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah, very tropical looking
I'm like,
lobby,
oh,
like with
so
the
cool.
green velvet couch and like fluorescent flowers behind it. He has
Wow.
a sign that says "This shit is bananas"
Oh my
and a bunch of bananas on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna sing some Gwen
Gotta have Johnny
Stefani.
Banana stop by.
Yeah.
He lives
Oh
in
yeah,
town now.
I
There's a
know.
gym in Boca, I believe.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
gotta invite him.
Okay, so this is all amazing. I want to get to know you guys a little bit though, because like I want to know the women behind the event. And like obviously I've read your bios, and you guys have both had, different career paths and different things, but like I guess what sort of led you to this place? Like what inspired you? You could just be like, I'm gonna just hang out at the house or do whatever and take care of my daughter, whatever, like, take care of my dogs. And like what inspired you guys to like want to create all of this?
I'll let you go.
I would say for me, I've always had like the entrepreneur spirit.
Yeah.
I've always started things, just trying to find my path. And when I joined Sandy's networking group, Sandy Glant, shout out to her.
Yeah.
I met Amanda, and we did a roundtable, and she was pretty vulnerable, and I got vulnerable as well as the other ladies, and it just allowed us to connect in a kind of a different way. And basically, her and I don't know, we were on the lives, and we started thinking like we should maybe throw an event sometime. We're definitely
When
on
you say
same
the
path.
lives, sorry, what do you mean?
Oh, on Monday she has Zoom calls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
we
private
would.
coaching
It's
program.
so nice because you can connect in your living room without
Yeah.
having to get out and go anywhere. I think that's the beauty of like all the Zoom calls after like 2020. Is you don't have to like get in your car and travel all the time. But I had thrown events, but then just kind of would start and then stop. And I think doing it with somebody, it just like lights a fire under you, but it allows you to not feel alone in this journey. And also when you collaborate, it's like she has her network and then I have my network.
Yeah, it's
And
way
it's
better
like
other I feel.
her skill set is like she's strong in certain areas that compared to like where I may be strong in other areas, and so we balance each other out. And I think that's the beauty when you collaborate with people is we didn't really set it up where we're like, oh, we're going to start a business, we're going to start an event planning thing. It was more so like, let's just throw an event and see how we do, and like let's just try something, because both of our husbands are very successful and we're successful in our own. I mean, she is a registered nurse. My background has always been in marketing and sales. I mean, I used to sell cars and work for some of the largest car manufacturers in the world. So like we have different backgrounds, but it allows us to come together with unique perspectives. And so I think we just wanted to try something new and
see how it went and keep building from there.
Right. I mean, it's all about like living your, trying to discover, I guess, become your best self. And that's what we want to do, is like obviously step into our future selves. And you can't do that unless you take action. You can't be afraid. And like, I'm interested in how you even started your Owwll app. I think it's amazing. It's, it's just about taking, action and trying. And if you don't try, then you're never going to learn or connect with that right person.
I really like how you say doing it together, because so often people start with these events by themselves and it gets frustrating.
I was just thinking that.
I've done events and like we've been there together.
We've
like,
both done events like on our own.
She's bad at putting stuff up, that I'm really good at that.
Yeah.
Right? But then she's really good at like finding people to come to our booth. And I'm like, I get annoyed at that. So we're great teammates when it comes to just like having the booth set up at a typical event fair.
And like even just everything you were saying about collaboration, like we actually started our app to be like an advice giving app. And then over time, we decided that, and just from the feedback we've gotten from people, that our app is actually like the purpose of it is more to find collaborators and to find like not necessarily calling someone, how do I do this? Like, yes, you can call for advice, but it's more for networking. And we have people that are like, I found my podcast partner on your app, my co-host, and I found like you guys, like I found my sister, soul sister, whatever, like on the app, you know? So that's like, and there's people from all over the country. So like we are literally making it like the collaboration app in a way.
I love that.
I feel like it's very aligned, just everything you're saying.
I think the only difference between like what you guys are doing, obviously it's an app, there's lots of differences, but we're mainly focused on the women's side of it.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of ties into my story because I was a nurse, and to be honest, I had a completely different career path. I didn't know anything about social media or digital marketing or ads, like all this entrepreneur spirit stuff. Like I knew it existed obviously, but that wasn't even like registered as something that I could do. So I was 26 years old working in Neuro ICU. My career path, I was continuing my education to become a nurse anesthetist because I was like, I'm going to make $140,000 a year and I'm going to be a baller. Like to me, that was a ton of money. Honestly, back then when I was single, before I met Rudy, I was only making like 45 grand in a year.
I feel you.
I was like, I'm doing pretty good. I have, like,
I'm like, I can pay my
every
rent
month
and stuff. And
I was just like, I could go on a shopping spree every month and still have all my bills paid. And it's just totally different. So I think for a long time I struggled because I entered this world with him. He was traveling so much, speaking on stages and going to all these events, that it was really hard for me to maintain working at the hospital. Especially because at that time I was transitioning into nights. So it was going to be a real difficult transition. And we had only been dating like 3 months at that point. So it was very, very new. And he knows what he wants. And he pretty much was like, I don't want to be with someone like you if this is your career. He wanted to be with me, not my career. So it was kind of like, ooh, what do I do? And I gave it up to work for him. So I struggled for a good 2 years when we first started dating because I was trying to be that supportive. At the time I wasn't his wife, obviously, but I was trying to be as supportive as possible. His business was way smaller, so I had a lot more integrated roles. So I was doing HR and legal. I was helping with his green card. I was doing all the onboarding and contracts. And
I'm like, had you done any of that before? Like,
no. And so that was
really good with
that's
ClickFunnels
insane.
too. Like she built out our Click.
I'm
page,
decently good at tech,
amazing.
so I can figure it out. And because I was kind of part of his growth, he was already successful. He was already at a certain level. I think he had already hit like 7 figures when we met. But he was taking that next step, and I was on board. His team was like maybe 20 people at the time. Now it's over 100.
Wow.
So I helped him. I don't want to say like I helped ran it. Like
no,
you
did.
But
totally
I really helped support him. And whatever him and his team needed, they would come to me because I know his social. I know his mom's middle name. I know all their birth dates. And like I know everything. All the bank accounts. So there's nothing that really gets past me. But it just gave me a lot of doubt in myself because he was so successful and so alpha. And all the people that we hung around were like $10 million, plus businesses. And those people are very like secure in what they do and they have no self-doubt. And I mean, I
think they do. Maybe they don't show it.
They just
everybody
don't show it. And
I don't like that attitude.
Coming from like the nurse background, I'm so like sweet and caring. My favorite people were the elderly people. They loved me.
You're like, who are these alpha entrepreneurs?
I probably thought you were an angel.
So it was like,
what is this? That's a 180.
It was, so I really struggled for a long time because I would always compare where I was, which most of them were 15, 20 years older than me, right? Because I was only like 26, 27 at the time and brand new to this space. And here I am around like, I mean, some of the people that my husband would call like on speed dial had like 50, 100, sold over $100 million businesses, like high level people. And I'm just like, what could I possibly do to increase? So long story short is I struggled with insecurity in myself and what value I could provide. So I think I just grew a lot over the past few years with, I I've soaked up so much information at this point that I know that I have value.
Yeah.
I just haven't implemented it because I didn't have my own business. But so many things being in those rooms and being around those people and having the network of friends that I have, because I've never used them for business. So remember I was saying I go to business events to meet my best friends.
Yeah.
It's like I have all these women that are like powerhouse women as my friends. And I've always felt like, what could I possibly do with them? Like, just whenever you want to vent about your husband, I'm here for you. But other than that, I'm like, I don't know how to like give value to you in a professional way. So I'm changing that this year.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed it, but what is the business when that grew from 20 to 100 people?
So he has his own personal brand, but it's Mawer Capital, our last name, Capital. Everyone knows him for him, though, not the businesses. Like, he has several LLCs, but everyone knows him for him. His main business that grew so big, though, was he has a coaching, like a mastermind program. So it's $25K for just the mastermind, $50K for inner circle, $100K for his legacy program. And it's all coaching and mentorship.
What kind of, is it business coaching?
Yeah.
Personal coaching? Like,
no, business.
Business. Okay.
Yeah. So you have, you know, some of them are like not startups, they're more successful, but just, you know, maybe right under $1 million. And then a lot of them are $1 million plus trying to hit 8 figures, 9 figures.
And is it like a specific industry or
digital marketing?
Oh, digital marketing. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Which is why I wanted to start my own thing. I'm like, I have so much
That's
knowledge.
amazing.
Go to every mastermind event for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just his, but everyone else's that we were part of. Like, I remember when we, because we used to be nomad. We would travel the world living out of a suitcase because he literally would speak so many times. Like,
it's like my dream.
3
I'm
times
like,
a week.
Travel.
Yeah. So it's really hard to like go to Vegas and then 2 days later you have to be in LA. But like, do you stay in Vegas? Do you go home just to come back out again? So like, when we first started, we took, he has it like in his brain. He remembers these things. I want to say we had like 53 flights that year or something crazy. Wow. So that's why we just gave up our place when we first were together.
Was that during COVID?
Yeah, so this was 2019, right before COVID.
Like, not during, but because I know like a lot of people during COVID were like, whatever, let's get an RV and like travel. I mean, obviously you guys had intention for the business.
We grounded. That's when he got his office, and that's when he started growing. Is because when he was traveling, that's when he was paying, like, you know, this mastermind was $25K. This other mastermind we were in was $30K. And then
so you guys were taking masterminds at that point?
He was in like 3 or 4 masterminds himself
to learn, and then eventually.
And he had an agency at that point.
Okay.
And then COVID happened. He got an office, and he's always been really, really successful. So it's like snowballing. And then it gets to a certain point where he's kind of like surpassed the masterminds that he's in, or he's equal levels with the founders of the mastermind. So he doesn't need to be a member anymore because he speaks on their stage and all this. Not to discredit that in any way, but he just, now he can do his own.
I'm super curious. There are so many coaching programs and masterminds out there. And I feel like it's hard to determine like how much value you're really going to get out of it. And where do you invest your money? And as someone who's like taken a lot of these courses, do you have any advice for people listening? Because you know, some people say, oh my gosh, it's worth every penny, and then others it's like, that was a scam. So just in kind of like navigating that whole world, or someone that's starting off and wants to grow their business, like, I know that's kind of a general question, but
I mean, there's one thing that immediately comes to mind is any coaching program or agency or anything like that, because especially agencies were very, very hard. Marketing agencies are very hit or miss. They have a bad rep. I think knowing the founders and having a personal relationship with the person you're paying. So if you're just hiring an agency based off agency results, I don't think that rapport is there, and that's where it could get, I think, a bit muddy.
That makes sense.
But a lot of people who joined Rudy's agency who were friends with Rudy first, and vice versa. Like we were part of a digital marketer, and what was that other one? I'm blanking.
It's okay.
It'll come back to me later. And he was friends with the founders first. And so if there was ever a problem, like he couldn't attend a few events and was kind of like, I've been paying a bunch of money this year and I haven't really done anything. Like they work it out, right?
Yeah.
And Rudy would do that for his clients too, is like, hey, we've paid you for 3 months and we're not quite at where we want to be with Facebook ads. Like, and he would work with them.
Nice.
So I think the biggest thing is when you want to have a mentor or join a program or anything like that, having that rapport first, it kind of helps mitigate issues, concerns, and things like that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely great advice.
And I think with most businesses, they just don't see that. They just see like, okay, people are posting on social media, but they miss out on all the like real relationships behind the
even
scenes.
like the insights. I just start like as someone who's been posting on social media, I'm trying to learn and just like from random videos and things, just even looking at the insights. I never looked at the insights in my life. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, this is opening up a whole world.
Yeah, I haven't been there either with my personal page.
It's crazy.
Speaking of the insights, obviously you're going to want to focus on the ones that if you gained a lot of eyes on one of your videos, then you need to replicate that, like rinse and repeat as much as you can on that one. That's for organic traffic. I mean, as for somebody starting out, wanting to learn the game for themselves and trying to find the right coach, I would say obviously a good place to start is YouTube. It's the largest search engine on the internet. YouTube has a lot of free value. Udemy, doing these challenges through like a CRM platform like a ClickFunnels or Go High Level, like doing those challenges. But then also, if you're trying to find a coach, try to find somebody who's going to guarantee you sales. Like they're going to help you get your first.
I always
client.
ask that. I'm
like a bulletproof.
So what do you guarantee? And then they're like, well, there are no guarantees. And I'm like, okay, bye. For this amount of money, no, thank you.
The people who know what they're doing, they have a solid guarantee.
Yeah,
like you could probably.
Conrad and I. So Conrad, my husband has Market Monster. He does consulting, market-monster.com, and he guarantees money back, has a money back guarantee. Like if you don't get sales, we'll give you your money back. So he does lead generation for roofers, contractors, HVAC, any service industry. And I do the same too. It's just he's like blown it out of the water. He took the company to like $10 million recently. So it's just from what I've learned from him and then all the courses that I've taken. I mean, I remember when I made $40K a year and I invested like $6K in a coach. And although like she gave me a good blueprint of what I needed to do, it's like she didn't build the website for me. She didn't build the landing page. She didn't. So it was like amazing, but because I had the knowledge of what I needed to do, but then I was like stuck without the tech help. So you need to find a coach. If you're out there, you need to find, like, even go on Fiverr and maybe hire somebody to help you build out the tech part if you don't know how to do that, because there's so many
details. I'm doing it right now with my website.
But sometimes you just have
I could
to
help
go.
you with your website. It's fine.
Entrepreneurs, it's like you're I just learned this today from a mentor of mine, Chris Winters. He's amazing.
That name sounds familiar.
He's kind of low-key. He's multi-millionaire, very low-key about it. Like he should be.
I heard that
his personal brand should be bigger to me. But he was saying how like entrepreneurs always believe that there's never a someday, and so someday is never going to happen. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you need to just start now. It's not going to be perfect. Get messy, just throw something out. I mean, I had a dream.
That's our mentality here. We're always
I had a dream.
Like 2 days before, we're like, let's do an event like the day before, and we're just like, let's try it. Who cares?
I had a dream. I was like, oh, I want to do a confidence in business, build your confidence in business series. I had a dream about it, and I'm like, okay, I can make the content and then just post it, and it's going to be kind of like lame or whatever. But then I'm like, you know what? It doesn't have to be lame. I can go to Fiverr, or I can go find somebody to help me edit these dang videos if I don't want to feel like editing it. So like focus on what you're good at, and then try to like find people to help you on the areas that you're not so good at. And people want to help people. So like you just have to ask people.
Love that last point, because so often everyone thinks that you got to write a check for everything.
No, you don't.
You just ask for help, and they're like, okay, I could see this individual needs help. They're an entrepreneur. They were like me one day. You mentioned you made 45,000. You were in the 30s, your first job, right?
Yeah.
I made 25,000 as a financial advisor in New York City, right? That's pretty much like
in New York.
You're just figuring things out. I lived at home.
You were hungry.
You were hungry. But 25,000, like your first year as a financial advisor is actually like decent when you're independent. Like you're not with a big firm, not a big salary. It's all commission. But guess what? Then you figure out what works. You fail a bunch of times at a lot of different marketing strategies. And we failed so much on Owwll, right? I have built features where like people in our community, like, we want this. You build it and you're like, did it work out as planned? I guess you wanted that, but hundreds of other people did not want it, right? So you just have to learn to fail and then get back on your feet and try it again, right? And you're talking about events, like me and her have done so many events, for Owwll, with the booth, without a podcast, with a podcast at our booth, and we just keep making it better. And that's the trick, is just continuously just try and try and try.
Messy
and all of a sudden, like, you become an expert in that field by trying so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that thing like practice makes perfect. You just, the more you do it, the better it's gonna get. Like going on lives for the first time. I know a lot of people have like phobias of content, which I definitely do too. Like this is my first ever live and podcast.
Well, you're doing great.
But,
You're
yeah,
I would never know.
I just got to do it more.
Yeah,
I'll be better.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I think this is my first podcast as well. I'm trying. I think it is. This is. I mean, I do my own Thursday shows usually, so like I'm used to just talking. But like I always have a fear of speaking as well, which is so weird because I'm so bubbly and like naturally outgoing.
Yeah, and you're great at it.
Thank you. But I use this app called Restream or not Restream, Big Voo. Restream's awesome if you want to like go live, but then Big Voo is like a teleprompter. So if you are so nervous about speaking in front of people or making content, you just have ChatGPT, create your script and then upload the script into Big Voo and then record it. And then there you go. That's how I started. And it's like that messy action, if you don't try. And so I don't know what took me so long just to create content like that, but now I have a video editor and I've been pumping out these days.
Nice.
Yeah,
before the 10 days to build confidence in your business.
I need to check it out
before the event.
It's so annoying that like the algorithm only shows you like
I know.
such a small part. I'm like, where? I haven't seen these videos at all because
I gotta boost it.
The algorithm like hasn't showed me, and even though I follow you guys, like it doesn't.
My husband was saying the same thing. I forget I just overheard him a few days ago talking to his team about it, but I want to say it went from X amount of numbers and it like decreased like a good 80% or something compared to what he was getting. I think like last year. I wasn't really paying attention to that conversation, as you could tell, but I do remember.
You got the general gist of it.
Yeah. He had a big hit on his social media, so they were talking about that.
Yeah,
it's all about the shout outs and collaborations.
Yeah, I need to get on.
Either pay to play to get shouted out by bigger platforms that have good following, real following.
Yeah,
or you collaborate with people and say, hey, let's do a shout for shout. I'll shout you out to my followers if you can shout me out.
And I've noticed,
so you just like help each other. It's about scratching each other's backs, And
I was like told, I've experimented a lot of different things and just trial and error, but like I was doing just some paid ads, like just to try that and not putting a lot into it, but just some. And then like someone's telling me, oh, well, that's going to hurt you. Once you start paying, then if you don't pay for everything, then it like penalizes you. And I'm like, oh,
I don't know.
I've
never heard of that.
We dive into like deep tips because I feel like every show is so general, right? We hear about social media and everyone's like, post this many times, and the next person's like, post 22 times a day. The next person's like, post
that's
everywhere.
What when you do those research, you're saying like YouTube.
Then other people are like,
everyone
no, post less and try to create better quality content, and everything's all over the map right now.
Yeah,
it's what you ask, and
everyone is like their own opinion.
And there's really not one right strategy. Every platform's a tad different, and I'm a believer. I said it earlier in the show, like most people play the social media lottery, right? They just keep posting the same garbage over and over again and hoping that one of them goes viral. Then even if it does go viral, they don't have the systems to even back it up to turn it into customers or clients.
Yeah.
And I'm more of like, I go on offense behind the scenes, right? I just message people. Like I had a problem with my app. And it happened today on Tech Tuesdays. We partnered with Southflorida Tech Hub. I messaged everyone from Agora, this big brand in California. I just connected with all the developers, right? And one of them connected. It's like, hey, we should connect about Owwll. They could use Agora. I'm sitting here like, we're already using Agora. And ready for this? He goes, I'm in Florida. You happen to be here. And I go, want to come on a podcast on Tuesday? And he's like, sure, let's do it. He was sitting in the seat 2 hours ago. And then we had a great conversation about how to enhance Owwll and make it the 3.0 version with video. But that all started with just a simple connection request and then a simple message back and forth on LinkedIn. So sometimes it doesn't have to be this crazy post. It could be in the DMs and just targeting the ideal client or customer. And of course, I want to hear from you guys some tips how to take that on steroids, right? Because there's so many tips out there with social media, like obviously paying to grow things, just social media posts in general. So I guess each of you share some strategies for certain
or that have worked for you personally, because different things work for different people. But
I would say, like, going off of what you're saying about chatting with people in the DMs, it's huge. I mean, just messaging and talking to like 12 people a day. If you do that every day for 31 days, 12 people every day, that's 372 new contacts that you have that didn't know you. And that was for free. Just a little bit of your time of just being like, hey, what's up? And just messaging.
I love that. It sounds fail proof. Like if you just did that every single day,
numbers.
Everyone's like, I don't have enough.
That's so easy to do.
You gotta do the math.
You're scrolling for a half hour. You might as well be productive.
The time.
I just started doing that actually, like a couple days ago. Is like, let me just like comment, like just with the commenting, but not like fake, like just things that I generally like. And then I'm like, oh, I want to be friends with this person. Let me connect. And not only that, on TikTok at night, I noticed, I'm new at TikTok, but like other musicians started doing lives, and like I would just go in their live and start like requesting songs. And then like last night, like 10 of us were like, let's all be friends and like add each other. And it's like a cool little community.
And they see your following and then you see theirs also when you do the lives, because it shares both of your
I feel like Instagram is weird with lives, but TikTok, the lives are more like popular. I don't know. I feel like Instagram lives I rarely see anymore.
I blew my TikTok up in 2020 with all the dances and stuff, and then to be honest, I have not really done a lot of business posting on there, but I will eventually. But then also sending a video of yourself or just a voice recording, people
make it more personalized.
Yeah, it's a personalized thing, and it's like you go to the page and like, hey Ellie, I don't know if you remember me or if we've ever met, but I'm Jenna. I want to be a friend. You just reach out and be real. Like that, I think we lose that. Sometimes we forget just to be human. Like everybody has things going on outside of their highlight reel, But yeah, it's a numbers game. Do the math.
Well, I feel like even just like
you want to be known,
you
reach out.
Sent me like, hey, here's this like video I did about like my husband's British accent or something, and then it like made me like remember you. Not like of his. I know you do that series, but like it made me be like, oh yeah, we met at this event, and then like, oh yeah, she should come on the podcast. You know what I mean? Like just because there's so much like going on and so much out there that it's not like I don't care about you guys.
And I sent that to everybody who I've talked to about it, or that's like helped me with that idea before I started it. Like I'm trying to figure out what kind of series, and then like
but it just like put you on my brain, and then I was like, oh yeah, what's she up to? And then I was like, oh my God, that'd be cool if they came on the podcast. So it just like helps to just the
DM definitely works.
Even like your phone, like your contacts in your phone. You made a connection with somebody at some point. Put their number and their name in your phone. Have you called them? Have you texted them? Like send a video and be like, what's up? It's going to be a new year. I just want to reconnect with you. This is my business. This is what I'm doing right now. What are you up to?
Yeah.
And then that way it just stays fresh in their mind. And that takes like less than 30 seconds to do.
So much easier than posting.
Even if you were to message like 5 people or just a couple, it's math. Like
so does your group that you guys do on Mondays with Sandy kind of hold you accountable for that? Because everything you're saying makes perfect sense, right?
Sorry.
I look at it as like everyone knows that if you just send 12 messages a day, like there's going to be outcomes. You're going to be messaged back to you, maybe 2 to 4 will come back, and then you could open up a relationship, go grab a coffee, jump on Zoom. But often people just then focus back on posting, right? Which is the lazier move, right? You're not putting yourself out there as often as a direct message in that person's inbox, because then there's going to be an action that has to be taken afterwards. So like, where is it where people are failing, I guess? Because we all know to do that, but often it always gets to that, I'll do it tomorrow, and then it doesn't occur. Where the people who are super successful, it's like, no, it's like my to-do list today, send out 100 messages. The next, and eventually you could outsource some of this, of course. Yeah. But sometimes you can outsource. Like you have to have a real conversation at some point. So where's the accountability in all this?
I mean, I got that numbers thing that I came up with. That actually was originally from Kayla Kraft from Mommy Millionaire. She has a great podcast, by the way. And then Sandy Glant with her networking group, her HPAA, she does the implementation calls. So she'll do a training call, but then she'll do a call where her team and her will actually like help you set up what, like mini chat, for instance. If they do a live on that, then they'll actually like do a training on how to implement it, and you can have your laptop open. And so she can, so yeah, getting involved in like a community is great.
Just having accountability.
I created a community on my Facebook group, selfmadebabes.com.
I saw that, yeah.
And there's 300 ladies in there. Mine is still in developmental process, but I love the girls in there. Everybody is, they can share their business and promote their business for free. It's not spammy. But I would just say you need to find a collaborator, like a person that holds you accountable. That's why Amanda and I linked up.
Partner.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like there's days that I don't feel like
you want to make your partner proud.
I don't
right? There is something about like when you just have a partner, they're like, hey, when I get to the office, I can't show up 2 hours late. Like they're going to be there at 9 a.m. in the morning.
And like just like with tasks or to-do lists, like, hey, we have to get these things done. If it's just you, you'd be like, oh, I can kind of wait. But then when you know somebody else is in it, if you're like you're stressed, like yesterday I had a lot going on because Rudy has an event today actually. And so I had a massive to-do list yesterday thinking I'm going to get a bunch done. It's a Monday. I'm like in it. Yeah. And then he gave me like a bunch of other stuff to do. And I was like, I can't do both at the same time. I got to do it all before 6 p.m. And so I asked her, I was like, hey, can you help me? Like I used a little bit of delegation, a little bit of like that shared responsibility. And we just tag team things.
Love it.
So a few things that I wanted to mention is with the implementation part of it, like you were saying, if you can break that down into like you said 12 messages a day versus a list of 100, right? So like breaking your big tasks down into more bite-sized pieces, that definitely helps. Yes, I agree with all the DMs and talking to people in DMs, sending them posts. I think it's really important to keep in mind though that when you are talking to somebody else or like engaging with someone else, they need to be extremely similar, if not exactly your same profile, right? So if you were at, 20,000, even if you're at 2,000 followers and your like target audience, you have to like know your target audience, like who they are, what they're doing, what their hobbies are, what their pain points are. Like you have to pretend like you embody that person.
Sure.
And
give them a name.
How they think, what are their favorite quotes. Like you need to know everything about that before you can go on. Like you really have to have a strategy, but knowing the person you're engaging with, if they're really similar to you, then it'll be so much more, it will be easier to collaborate or share.
So I want to dive deeper into this one because
I have more I can go into.
You work a lot with folks that have following. Right. I actually see the opposite. Like I host the Shrimp Tank podcast. We interview entrepreneurs that have $1 million in revenue or more. And that could be, the CEO of Celsius or the original founder of Celsius, Matt Williams, Pro, right? And often what you see with a lot of C-levels, especially 50 and older, they don't give a crap about social media following.
Yeah.
Right. So I go on the Owwll app, right? And I'll just use an example right now. So everybody's looking like Steve right here is Outram, right? Steve Outram. If we find him, is right here, right? He has practically no social following, right? If I go to his social media on LinkedIn, I'm not logged in, but 2,000 followers, right? He doesn't even have an Instagram account, right? He is the first person in Australia to have a company go public at the age of 23. He sold his company in 2000 for $700 million. Right. And that was crazy back in the year 2000.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
And then he's exited multiple times. But then as I've interviewed so many successful entrepreneurs, right, there is a portion where like those metrics all like they tie together. But a lot of people 50, 60 and 70, like those metrics aren't there. So then how do you, I guess, don't overlook things, I guess is where I'm going with this conversation. Where like
how would they leverage their social
media?
Ready
for this? How many followers do I have on Instagram? Take a guess.
I'm gonna say around 10K.
Like 100,000.
So ready? Instagram. I think I checked today, 478. Right.
Oh wow. Okay.
Now I've never focused.
1,000 or like
no 478.
Oh, okay.
400 followers.
Okay.
Those are your fans.
I never concentrated on Instagram ever. Now I have like 13K plus on LinkedIn because that's where I focus most of my time because financial advisor. I focus mostly on LinkedIn, and then now I'm a tech entrepreneur with Owwll. So now I'm finally
it makes more sense.
Now I'm finally like doing a personal brand, but ready? It's not taking off because Instagram is so hard now.
Yeah.
To grow a personal brand unless you buy followers, right? And I refuse to buy followers. So I'm sitting here
And
at
you shouldn't.
478
Yeah.
with good content, right?
Mhm.
And a good podcast, right? But my social following is there. So lots of times people are like, and next 478 followers. But technically, like you said it earlier, it's like cell phone contacts, right? She knows. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
I go in there and text, the CEO of Celsius as an example, right? Or Steve, who we were just talking about, or multiple business owners, right? And they'll get back to me immediately. So I guess how do you not overlook opportunities? Because I think that's happening more than ever today in the DMs, right?
Yeah.
Because people just go metrics next, right?
Mhm.
And that's why people buy followers, because they're like, I want opportunities too, but then it's
Yeah, so I bring
It
it up
does
because-
ruin your engagement though.
yeah. I'm not for myself, but I know like musician friends of mine that when I message my friend, I go, how many followers did you just buy? Because I know that he had like
I didn't even know you could still do that.
he went from like 1,000 to 10,000. I was like, you did not just get
Oh,
10,000
wow.
followers in like 3 days. And he
I
was,
just
I
learned
was like,
And they don't
something new.
even post.
I
And I was
thought
like,
that,
did you-
that was all banned and
no,
stuff.
I was like, did you,
There is
this
a
is
law.
like,
There is
this
a
was
law
like
that just got
2 weeks
released.
ago. And he was like, I just got so many more bookings now that I bought these followers. And like, it's
Oh,
true,
yeah.
like for venues and whatever. And
They've
I'm
done
just like,
It's
how have
like
they
social
not
proof.
caught on though? That I'm like,
Yeah.
that he has no comments and he has like,
Yeah,
how
I
have
mean,
these
growing your
venues and
social
labels
media
even, how have they
is
not caught on?
like, I mean, other ways is getting on those big meme pages.
Yeah,
where they
that's what
ha-
she was talking
right?
about.
So it
I don't
doesn't
know what
really
you're talking
have,
about.
like,
I've never been
uh,
on these pages. I need to check it out.
Yeah,
think
so
there's, like-
pages that have 2, 3, 4
Right.
million followers because they're meme
For
page.
memes. Yeah, I guess
So it's not really like a specific audience. The
Yeah.
only thing is depending on what you're looking for. Like again, I mentioned the strategy because this is so important.
Yeah.
Is if you're just trying to get followers for the sake of getting followers, that's different. But if you're trying to get really targeted followers because you want them to be buyers,
Yeah.
then obviously buying followers and going on meme pages and getting shout outs or doing giveaways, like that's going to be a really, really, really low level follower,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even a bot. So,
When you say meme pages, though, what do you mean? Like going on the meme pages and doing
There's-
what? Like,
so a lot of them you can
Shout
pay
outs?
to be a
Oh,
shout out on
okay,
a meme
okay.
page.
okay.
So you know
I
how they'll have their meme and they have their funny caption.
Yeah,
and it's like,
yes.
by the way, go follow these 10 accounts.
I know what you're talking about now. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, got it.
And then the giveaways, obviously, if you come up with like a really cool
Yep.
suitcase with like
The problem with the giveaways though is
Yeah.
people
But then-
are doing it for the free
Yeah,
item.
Yeah, the for not because
they're
your
not
content or
good
you-
quality buyers. But I would say as far as like getting overlooked and stuff, the biggest advice, and that's what I'm trying to implement, and it is really hard. I mean,
Yeah.
I was not on social media. I mean, I was on social media, but I haven't really done much with it.
Yeah.
This last month I started to, and I'm seeing some progress, but I obviously it's going to take time with everything.
Yeah.
The biggest advice that I have that I've learned from others who are really successful. I mean, I was just talking, you and I were just talking to the girl who owns a cybersecurity company. She's one of the only females who has her own cybersecurity company that she owns. And she is like super viral on social media. And her biggest thing is the consistency. And I know we hear that all the time.
Yeah.
But not only is she consistent, but it's just like B-roll with her just straight up educating people. So
Mhm.
it's not trying
That's
to do
the
funny
value.
dances. Yeah, it's not trying to like do
Yeah.
something trendy. Like she'll
Yeah.
use the trending songs, of course,
Yeah.
or she'll use something that's in the news, like, you know, cyber attacks or anything dealing with security. And then she'll do like a green screen where she comes on and explains. But if you think about it, like lawyers, like dentists, doctors, cybersecurity, those are some of the harder businesses to promote or to
Very
like
hard.
grow.
Remember, I'm a financial
So-
advisor. Very difficult.
Exactly. But if you went
most
in
advisors made the
every single
mistakes.
day and like gave a really like a piece of like, hey, did you know this?
Yeah.
And it was like something that
That's
most
what I
people
was
would never
trying to get
think
him
about.
to do for our because
Mhm.
we're revamping our
Like
social media.
super niche.
And I was like,
Meow on
well,
TikTok.
no, not that. But I was saying like you need to. So many people think it's cool that you're like a CEO of a brand, and it's like give a tip every week of like how do you become a CEO or what is it like to be a CEO? Like something that people who strive to be that like
Mhm.
actually want, not just like download our app. Like
Yeah,
you
or
know?
like having something fun. Like you were just saying, they post for the sake of posting. It doesn't go
Yeah.
anywhere. They're just like throwing spaghetti to the wall, kind
Also,
of a thing.
Yeah.
Talking about really well-known brands as well. So, for instance, like
Mhm.
you could start thinking about like Lululemon or
Mhm.
Target, and that's gonna resonate.
Jingles.
Yep,
I
it's
started doing jingles,
but
for
it's
people
gonna
who
resonate
actually-
with people because they're
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Oh, I shop there. I want to listen to her."
Yeah.
And then with you, like like connecting with Celsius and just talking about all these different brands that resonate with people, because then people are going to be like,
well, we
I drink
started.
that.
You're
I
gonna
do
hold
that.
on.
I
I
do that."
did what you said for the first
then
time
they
today.
shout
I'm
you
struggling
out.
today.
Yeah.
So today, look at my social media. I did like my journey. I was in the car today, and I posted it there. Right. Then I
Yes.
did
I like
right when I
that
got to
one
the
at the very
office.
top though is you want more leads for your business. That like the biggest piece of advice is like something clickbaity.
Yeah.
Like want to pick my brain. Like those are all pinned. So if
Yeah.
you could just
Yeah.
duplicate not exactly what you posted, but
Sure.
similar things. Like
That's what we've
the
been saying.
number one
hooks,
thing
hooks.
if you're yeah,
right?
exactly, is having hooks is something
Yeah.
that's like,
I've
ooh,
learned
I
that
need
recently.
to
I never put
like
text on my videos until where I was like, do you want to know what it's like to XYZ? Because those are the ones that I click on. I'm
exactly.
like, yeah.
If you start looking
So-
at yourself, the 10 things you should avoid if you're
Yes.
blah blah blah. The
Yeah.
3 myths that you didn't know about blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like things
Mhm.
if you want to be successful, do this. Like
Yeah.
just more clickbaity, and then something like what you're doing right now is just have B-roll footage of you talking and then text on top. So it doesn't
Yeah.
take you very long. There's not any like transitions or effects
Yeah.
that you need to add. It's just captions.
Thankfully, I have all this content sitting there, like 400 episodes.
Yeah.
From Tank the Owwll
This one did
podcast.
really well. It got a lot of views for whatever reason. You have to dive in and see why that one got 1,000 views versus some of the
Versus
others.
the one next to it that's like the same
and,
thing.
like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
replicate it. Well, you know what? I made a
And then
mistake
put
one
text on
time,
it.
and I posted like the same video like 5 times.
Okay.
Somebody was like, "Why are you posting that over?" And actually, one of them, like one of the third ones that posted, actually popped off, and I'm like,
Well,
"Whoa."
that's
And there
what
were
my one
duplicate
friend
videos.
said
have
he
to
was
try-
like
you really
he
have
gave
to
me
try
that advice
things.
yesterday. He was like, try posting an old video you've already posted, and
Mhm.
sometimes it blows
Mhm.
up the second time. And I'm like,
Also,
So,
already
yeah.
viral content. You go to Snoop Dogg's page, and he literally just reposts his viral content all the time. So if you
Yeah.
posted viral content of other people's content, other people's brands, reposting it, that's going to help get you views
Mhm.
as well. And you can keep it geared towards your target audience and post the things that your
Yep.
target audience is going to like, the viral stuff. And like what I was saying to you earlier, like there was a ambulance, somebody like fell off of the
yeah.
ambulance bed, and it's like they rolled over, and then you could start singing about that. So you
Yeah.
just have to like
Would
hook,
that be though?
Mhm.
Like, do you actually
just
take it from their page and do like a stitch?
yeah,
kind of
it's
thing?
a
Or
repost,
not
stitch.
like you're
Mhm.
like downloading it and then reposting it.
It shouldn't
more of a
take you-
stitch. Yeah.
I know some editing stuff can take you like
I'm
6
still learning all
hours,
that,
but like this doesn't have to take you long. A repost
Yeah.
could be just like a quick thing. You just have to just obviously trying new
yeah,
things
that's a cool idea.
every time, but it's just, I mean, to me, it's this consistency and providing value.
Mhm.
And if you're an entertainer, then it's like, how are you going to entertain? How are you
Yeah.
grabbing attention? Like, what
Lit-
are you wearing? Or is there
Yeah.
something like Sabrina Carpenter, she was on the MTV Awards the other night. She had like a little kissy heart, and it's like that was part of her brand.
Mhm. I
So-
just started doing that. So I have my new logo is a lightning bolt like within a heart, and it's about it's a long
Always
story, but
have that
I have the
on you.
necklace on pretty much in every video because I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, it's one
But
consistent
you should
thing.
showcase that more because
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
seen a video or
But-
two, maybe not recently, but
Yeah.
I didn't
I
even know the
actually
necklace was a
ordered
thing.
tattoos with the logo, and I
Wow.
was like, maybe I'll just put it on my face and be like freaking like annoying about it.
Put
Like,
your-
and just why
Your
not?
website on there and pass that out to people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that they're tattooing it on themselves.
Yeah, I know. I was like, whatever. You
Make
try
it like-
this.
Do you have a watermark on your video
No.
with that logo? So that way on
No.
every video, it's just a template. It's the watermark
Yeah.
of that image with like your social handle or something.
Yeah, that would be.
And then
I need to
maybe
implement that.
like one of the things that you could do is, I don't know, some transition of like, oh, here's my, and then,
Yeah,
but it's not, it's like 2 seconds.
it was
if
just a
that. It's just like,
placeholder
oh, and
until
then
I
you zoom
got the
back out.
Yeah, it was just I was like, I just need something with the two
Yeah.
things, but yeah, it's a process.
Like one of the things that when you're going on a new page for the very first time, you don't know anything about that person. The bio is great, yes. However, if you are like, we're all so selfish and we're all in a rush, especially on social media.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be honest. Probably less than 50% of the time, I even look at someone's bio,
Yeah.
and if I do read it, I don't remember anything I
Yeah.
read
No.
2 minutes later. Like it like I could see, oh, co-author this, bestseller of this, blah blah, founder of this, blah blah. Blah. I look at their social media, and the things that I clicked on have those clickbait captions,
yeah.
right? And I'm like, oh, no. But if it's just a bunch of images with no captions, now I'm like, I need to hunt to see what the captions are. What is this information
Cover
about?
photos.
But if you have a cover photo on every single thing, like pull up my husband's social media.
Okay. But cover
that's the
photo
best
on
example.
That, like that, so people
That's
know what
'cause,
they're gonna watch.
I broke the rules on Owwll. I posted that myself.
That's
My
okay.
team usually does that stuff. I'm like, I'm going to post something for Owwll 2.0 today.
It's
So
okay.
it should
Jump
be
the
like
gun. I jumped the gun.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
So just scroll down a little bit. But like everything is like it's almost
what
like
if Lays were
YouTube-y,
healthy? T-Pain is yeah.
Where it's like something that, oh, this is interesting, and then
totally.
So his advice for you, or like the people that you're trying to work with, would be do your social media targeted for someone seeing your social media for the first time, because many people do it based off what their current follower wants, or like what they want. Like
yes,
that's what I was trying to tell you.
Like,
they were
what's
like,
in it for me?
I didn't say that.
How are you going to
someone seeing it?
They want opportunities.
We
for
need
their
it
like your handshake.
New download, like for it's not for the current people. So it's for the people that we need new downloads and new people to be like,
well,
what is this?
Let's
what
show everyone Owwll. We haven't even done it yet. At the end of the show, we always call a person or two on Owwll. So this is the app right here. I know you guys just downloaded it recently. And how cool is this that all these people are in different categories like podcasting, South Florida Tech Hub, artificial intelligence, entrepreneurship, plus other searches as well. This is just the home screen, but we could go on here and call absolutely anyone we'd like. So we're going to pick somebody, of course, and give them a ring.
So the people in active, you don't know what category they're in?
So watch, ready? See, I'm right here, this timer. I set my availability for 3 hours. I could charge whatever I want. So I'm charging $99 for a 10-minute call with myself. And now I'll show up somewhere. Here, I'll just scroll down right here. See?
Okay.
And then here's my profile.
But if you go to active, it shows every single person who's active. You don't necessarily know their category, but if you can also in the search bar, if you're looking for a particular field or something specific, you can search that. But I typically just go to like active to just see every single person. And I just usually there's not like too many people on. So I'm just like, who have I not talked to? Or what is this person about? Like,
so
what
are
do
the
they
same
do?
people pretty much on a lot? Is that what you mean?
Well, we just
maybe not the same. I just mean like we want like 100 people on it. Like we don't have 100 people on it once. I would say it's anywhere between like.
Well, because you were saying you go and see who you haven't talked to. So I'm like,
oh, well, because I've talked. I'm work here, and I'm like, I talk to everyone. Like I call everyone. Like anyone new, I'm like, I don't know them. Boop. Like I like to meet people in general, and just,
I love that.
So, and I like to like, especially if they're new, to be like, do you have any questions with the app, or how just to welcome them sort of to the experience.
Explain the notifications because that's the major. The app that we're not leaving it to chance.
So basically if there's someone that you want to talk to, like he'll be like, oh, this millionaire came on the shrimp tank today, you should call them and like get to know them, they're a good person to know. So there's a follow button, so I will then follow. You can follow with or without notifications, but if you're wanting to talk to someone, I follow them with notifications, and that way when they decide to use the app and go live, I'll get a notification that they're live. And then I'm like, oh,
stalk them with
it's my time. And I can be like, oh, I'm free right now. I'm going to give them a call right now. And like quick before someone else calls them. And it'll be red if someone's on a call, but it's kind of like.
And we're just going to call Rebecca, right?
Okay.
So here's Rebecca's profile, right? Happiness specialist, inner peace.
Oh, I love that.
Right.
She has a podcast.
She has a podcast. So if you want to get on 20-30 podcasts in the next 12 months, just call all the podcasts.
We have so many. We have we go to Podfest every year, which is like, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's a really huge podcasting like conference. And so we have a lot of podcasters just on our app who have their own. And
Rebecca,
hey, Jason.
What's up, Rebecca? How are you? Oop, our screen lost you. Hold on. Let's Bluetooth you back in, but we could hear you. How's everything going? You're on the Owwll Podcast today.
Oh, hello, Owwll Podcast. I'm sitting in a lounge chair right now getting cryotherapy and compression therapy.
Oh, and you answered the phone. That's dedication right there.
No, it's very relaxing.
Aw. Well, I'm just saying I would probably not. I would probably like phone off And I'm going to put this away.
Or it could be the perfect time for these phone calls.
Maybe.
You're just sat there not doing anything.
That's true. That's true.
So this is the power of the app.
Jason,
like you could just call people at random.
When Jason calls, I always answer the phone.
Oh, thank you.
Only Jason.
Is that a true story? Don't lie.
Yes, kind of. Maybe.
No, I like how you said kind of.
So
there's other people in your life,
Rebecca, we have Jenna and Amanda here, and they're two amazing ladies that I met at an event a couple months ago, I guess. And they're actually putting on their own amazing event for women, confidence and charity. It's going to be amazing. They're going to be giving all the money to a trafficking charity, and they're going to basically help empower women, teaching them about social media and providing content, all these amazing opportunities. So I want you guys to connect. I want you to share a little bit about what you do with them.
Okay, I would love to. Well, I am the global leading specialist, sharing with people how to experience more happiness on this journey. And it's not about something happens and now I'm happy. I just finished publishing my latest book. It's called Programmed for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. And in that book, I list 55 program behaviors that have been proven to subtract. And when I say happiness, I'm talking about an energy, a vibration of contentment, an energy of vibration, personal energy and vibration of peace. And so I've been sharing that for 45 years, and starting tomorrow is the first day of class at UNLV. I also teach the class for the elderly people because I'm 68, but don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody.
Is she in Vegas?
It's called The Truth About Happiness. And so I have people that are 60 years old, 70, 80, 90 years old, still looking for this contentment, this happiness. And so I just share with people how to do it. And the good news is it's a practiced skill, like anything else, from cooking to being an athlete, to being a musician, a singer. It's a practice. So I just share with people what to practice.
Do you guys have any questions for Rebecca?
Where are you based? I'd love to know where you are.
I'm in Las Vegas, baby, but I can fly anywhere.
I used to live in Vegas.
I can fly anywhere.
I lived downtown in the Ogden back in the day. I even jumped out of an airplane out there. But how did you become a happiness specialist? Like, what made you go down that path? That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm Jenna Quinter, by the way.
Well, you remember, how many of you there celebrate or have birthdays? Anybody have birthdays on the panel?
I have a birthday and a birthing day where I birthed my daughter.
Oh, I love that. A birthday.
I have two.
So when I was younger, in my teens and in my 20s, I blowing out the candles on my birthday cake, and I always wished for two things. I wanted to, number one, I said I want to live to my potential. I had no idea what that meant, but I said I want to live to my potential. And the second thing is I wanted to be happy. Aww. And so finding out, or not finding out, but this search for happiness it's not out there, it's inside. And in fact, there's a very famous study. It's called The 5 Most Common Regrets of the Dying. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
No, but that sounds very intriguing.
Hospice, I think, give a book as well, I believe.
Yeah, you can Google it. It was done by a hospice nurse, Bronnie Ware in Australia. The 5 most common regrets of the dying. And the 5th regret is, I wish I would have been happier.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember reading, I think, a portion of that when I was 18, when my grandmother passed away. So that's beautiful that we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the thing is, this whole, the world teaches success, and achieve. No shade, Jason, but what happens after you achieve and you acquire? But everybody isn't content even after the success and the achievements.
Yeah.
I mean, Will Smith was interviewed in GQ magazine, November 2021, and he said, I have everything. This was before the famous slap heard around the world. He said, I have everything. I have money, I have fame. I have connections. At the time, he said loving family. He says, but I'm not happy. And so that's really the underlining, I find, challenge of everyone. Achieve, but don't expect to achieve and feel don't expect to achieve and feel contentment, because that's not lasting. It's what is lasting is the internal.
I feel like the best times that I've ever had, or the happiest that I've been, is when I just let go of expectations, and it's like the unplanned times are like the most fun. So I think it's interesting.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, Ellie. It's interesting that you say that, because one of the 55 program behaviors, one of them is letting go, eliminating all expectations. I mean, all of them. Expecting somebody to call you, expecting an outcome, eliminate all expectations.
I try to remind myself.
It's not easy.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to say it's not easy to do, but it is a practice.
Yeah. I try to remind myself of like when I'm doing something and it like sets my soul on fire, like, or I get like tingles. I'm like, oh, this makes me feel good. Like, what is this? What am I doing? So I try to like do more of it. So it's like, if just like walking and smelling a flower and like looking at the intricate details of the flower, like things are so beautiful when you stop and take a second to like focus on
that's like mindfulness.
Yeah.
That's very, very hard for most entrepreneurs,
for most people,
to do.
Yeah.
Especially
To
because
get out
most
of
of
it.
them have ADHD or some form of ADD.
No off button, I say.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's like the little things, you know, like even something that tastes good, you know. You're
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, I want
You're
more
like,
of that.
let me chew this and feel every
I
bite in my mouth. That is, I am a
One of those
mindfulness
Dove
certified-
commercials, you know, the chocolate.
That is
where
a
they're all
mindfulness
sensual.
practice, is mindful eating. And like when you eat slowly, and then they're like, where did this food come from? Look at the colors. Look at it's a real thing.
There's a drink at the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Vegas, and it's called the Lemon Verbania, and it's not on the menu, but you can order it. You can ask them for the secret menu, and it has like a Verbania flower in this drink, and it literally feels like an explosion in your mouth. So I'm like, oh,
you're like, go to that hotel or wherever and go get that drink.
It's an experience apparently, but it's not on the menu. You have to go to the Cosmo. The Cosmo Hotel in Vegas. I don't even know if it's still open. Is that
Cosmo? Yeah,
Yeah, so
Jason loves Vegas.
I'm quietly like,
It's like his
in
favorite
Arizona.
place.
I lived out in Arizona for like 6 years, so
here's the tip of the day. MGM reward points shifted over to the Cosmo. So the problem with gambling at the Cosmo is the reward system was separate from MGM, but you got to stay in the MGM family because they don't have a Vegas. So now my comp offers get me 3 nights at the Cosmo.
Oh my God.
I do have that drink at the Chandelier Bar. It's so
that chandelier, you know, okay.
Does it explode in your mouth?
What were you saying, Rebecca? We have 1 minute left.
Pretty much, you always bring some people. You bring them there, and they're like, try this, and they're like,
okay, Jason, let her talk. 1 minute.
Kicked off the show.
Go. You talk too much now.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay, go.
So what you're describing, because I can't see, but what you're describing was living in the present moment, and that's the challenge. The programming is to live in the past or live in the future. So what you were describing, you, Ellie, and I don't
Jenna.
know your first name, Jenna. Yeah, thank you. What you were describing was living in the present moment. And how many people practice living in the present moment? Only 2%.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But
do you have any takeaways for us?
We have 33 seconds left, but
program for unhappiness, exposing the untold truth, solves all problems. It's on Amazon. That's my. But
the takeaways are in the
book. On Audible.
I'm doing the Audible. I'm doing an Audible and also a video. In the next couple weeks, I'm going to be recording.
Yes, we can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm all about Audible.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I don't have time.
You're beautiful.
I listen in the car.
Thank you.
Look me up.
Okay.
Connect. Bye.
Bye.
She's like
I love that.
talking about myself and how I call everyone
I'm
Owl.
obsessed,
She
Jason, with this app now.
That's pretty cool, right?
She
I
does
had
the same
downloaded
thing.
it.
She calls everyone, and she's like
Okay, so you got to leave a
It
review.
shows how many calls you've had.
So watch.
See.
We go to this app like this. We hit submit. And
856 reviews.
She's taking
949 calls.
And ready for this? Like right there. Your review is posted. So you can leverage these reviews on socials, of course. Those actually do really well on social media. And then we go over to her website, like what she was just talking about. Like here it is.
She's beautiful too. Her hair is amazing.
There she is. So she's legitimate. She's got a whole website about herself. And then
that's the thing is like just
that.
the vetting on the app, because it helps you decide like who, when I was saying like make sure you have a picture, like it helps you decide like who do I want to talk to. And I mean,
Got goosebumps.
I mean, the price, I would say most people set, it is a paid thing. So if you are live, you set a price. Most people, I would say, set their price between $1 and $10 for 10 minutes. Just because it is more about, it's not so much about the money.
Yeah, it's getting those phone calls.
It's just making the connections. But even putting the paywall there does take out the people that aren't as serious.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's $1, it still makes a difference, we found.
Yeah.
And that's why we do the pay system, the paywall. So
love that.
yeah.
Well, I'm definitely gonna
Now,
be
are
using
they-
it.
Now, are they making any money from this too?
Yeah. So like she just made whatever she charges. So
$1.
she
So
charges
the
$1.
app
So she
takes
just made
30%.
$1
So
from
she makes
the call.
70 cents. So if
Yeah.
someone's charging $10, they're getting $7. And
But you could
the main
decide
objective,
like
though, is the opportunities.
like if your
Right.
husband, for
Yeah.
example, he's charging all this for his masterminds, right? And he might be harder to access from some sort. So he could be like, guys, I'm going to go live on the app and you can call me and have a personal conversation with me for $100. And he might have that audience that will pay $100 to call him. So it
Yeah.
just like depends on who you are.
And it's 10-minute intervals.
10-minute interval. And you
Yeah.
can add time. So if we wanted to talk to her more, we would just be, hold on, can I talk to you for 10 more minutes? Add time. She gets another $1. And
So the whole point is to be like super intentional with that phone call.
Yes,
Keep it quick and
yes.
not take up
you
someone's
don't
time.
exactly.
Yeah, because that's what I
Most
was like
valuable
thinking. I was like,
asset is your time.
man, I would be a little bit nervous getting on there, and then someone wants to talk to me for an hour, and it's like
And
I'm so nice.
We're
that I would,
talkers.
and
You and I talk.
yeah,
And
we could
that's
go off on
why it's
tangents.
amazing, because you can we
Like
like
10
they have
minutes.
made like joke videos before where we're like at a networking event and in like the video and you're like stuck in a
calling-
conversation with this.
She's calling me for $100 right
Oh
now.
my God.
So this is what incoming call. What we'll pick up so you guys could see at $99 she's paying to talk to me. She knows we're on the air, of course, but
Mhm.
it's a different screen. Now we see who's calling,
Okay.
and it's like this. Now what Rebecca doesn't know is our system does not work for inbound calls unless I connect it. So I have to do like this. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello. I wanted to give everybody a takeaway
Okay.
real quick. So, this is a takeaway. How many of you worry? Raise your hands.
I think we all do.
Yeah. Everyone.
Got my hand raised.
Jason, is your hand raised?
No.
I'm not a worrier.
Okay.
You know me. I go thing.
All the women are like,
Yeah, stop lying.
I'll
Stop.
go jump in shark. and
You're
fish.
not a warrior. Okay. You're like, oh my God, the app, the update, it's not working. What am I gonna do?
Okay. So
He's a warrior. We're all warriors.
Jason didn't.
Human beings are warriors.
I
Yeah.
can't hear you because the audio is only one way.
Okay, go.
Go for it.
Okay. So the thing about worrying is it's a program. You didn't pop out of the womb knowing how to worry. So you were taught. You learned how to worry. That's number one. So it's not your fault. Number two, the solution is practicing trust, because you can't trust and worry at the same time. So which one are you choosing to practice?
Gratitude, same thing.
And that's my takeaway.
Love it.
That was really good. That makes so much more sense though, because there's so many things that we can worry about that I'm like, I try not to worry about it. But if I had that trust that it was going to be okay, then it would automatically prevent me from.
Yeah. Well, they
Worrying.
say too, if you're in a
Love that.
state of gratitude, there's no way that you
Mhm.
can be depressed or be worried. Like if you're just
Yeah.
in that state, but no one can be in that state all the time.
Yeah, that's the struggle, right? Is
Right,
that
yeah.
balance between like, let me be in the moment and be, grateful and blessed and all the
Yeah.
things.
Uh-huh. And I grew up on a little farm in Texas, a little peach orchard, and so Bible Belt out there, and they would always say worrying is a sin. But my great
Oh.
grandma, I think I learned how to worry from my great grandma.
Mm.
She was
You know,
always
someone
worried.
who's great.
So I'm like-
she's local to Miami. You guys might want to connect with her. Her name's Melissa Wagi. She has the biggest mastermind in Miami. She's a co-founder or the
Epic
founder
Talks.
at Epic Talks, and she's probably the most inspiring woman as far as motivational, happy, uplifting, supportive. Like she created this mastermind because she's so good at building connections.
Mm.
But whenever I'm like struggling or having an insecure moment, even if I'm not like insecure, but it's more of a, oh, I'm nervous about this thing. Like, I'm not quite sure. Like, I know that I could do it, but it's scary. Like, she's just like, girl, snap out of it. And she'll do that the same for guys too. Like, she is just on it. Like, she's
What's her name
everyone's
again?
best friend. Melissa. So it's Melitsa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Epic Talks. I remember going to one of her first ones, and she's amazing. Y'all, she should definitely be on y'all's podcast.
Yeah, and she's so giving. So what she does
Other
is
people have brought
everyone
her up
that
to me, because I've messaged her something because someone brought her up in the past.
like what she would
Someone
say is
mentioned.
she's like, I'm down for anything you need. Let me know how I can support you.
Yep.
That's her biggest thing. She doesn't ever ask for anything. She's always like, how can I support you? How can I support you? Is there
Yeah.
anything that you need? What can I do for you today? And I'm like, girl, you don't need anything. Like, just being your friend.
She follows through though, because a lot of people
Oh,
say
she
that all the time,
does.
and then you're like, actually, I do need this, and then nope, you don't hear
They
from
never-
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
she
It's
because
more
of
like
her
they learned that
mastermind.
from like a slide on a big at a big event, and then it's like, nope.
It's like their
Don't follow
gimmick
her.
or something.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
because she is so well connected. She knows everybody.
She
You
can
have
delegate or
you say, I need help with this. She's like, I got 5 people.
So it's funny you say that.
Amazing.
We built that actually with our updated feature inside the Owwll app. So now when people post, right, you see how there's a number 12 next to my name right here.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is on my actual profile, we put posts and introductions. So the more people you introduce, which is what we're talking about, there's actually a metric holding people accountable. So it's the first app that, really like supports exactly what
you
she's
can
doing.
trust
like referrals.
Yeah,
You
like
can,
if I referred
Yeah.
4,000 people versus the other person referred one person, you're like, okay, this person, consistently is a giver.
Yeah.
It's really saying thank you to the givers out there, because
Yeah,
so often
okay.
people talk the talk, but then
They
don't
do,
follow through because there's nothing in it for them,
Mm-hmm.
right? To go into a chat forum and when someone asks for help, to actually connect those folks that need the help, right here is an example. Like David Wakefield is, a headshot photographer in South Florida. He's pretty well known. And he's like, I'm going to be in New York. Just want to connect with other founders. And then I connected. You could see, like, I'm the only person on here.
I always
Connected
forget it
with.
exists, to be
yeah.
honest.
Remember before
I know.
the update today, right? People
So
weren't
how
getting.
come it's not like 12, 13, 14? Because you're saying it tracks every person you
That's
mention.
my total count of introductions. So I've introduced.
So it's
12
people that are actually, so not just you referring them. It's like that person and the person that you're referring them
Then
to.
they do a phone call, right?
Yeah. So what happens is in the past we were tracking. It just was too hard. I would refer you, right? And the only time I would get a point is if you talk to the other person.
Like on a call.
Yeah, what happened? And it was just the tracking wasn't working as designed. It wasn't tracking all the calls. So we ended up saying, forget about that. Let's just track straight introductions.
Okay.
So today,
so anytime you mention somebody.
tags.
Tag. Sorry. So if I tag Ellie on this post, my number will go, watch, we'll do it live. So I'll go like this, Ellie Santra, and then he gets a notification. Sorry, Daniel. Hopefully you're watching the show. It's just a test. So now when I go back to my profile, it just has to refresh.
You're going to say 13.
13.
Yeah.
I go back here, and now all the numbers.
You could delete it. So that
this is a 2.0 version.
That's
of course, we're going to
amazing.
enhance it, but the whole idea is just, the givers out there can come in here and consistently refer people, get credit for tagging and taking the time to just read posts and then tagging people.
I love referring people.
I want to shout out, like,
so
I know we
fun.
were talking about the ladies, but I do want to shout out a guy that I met when I first moved here to Boca Raton. I live in Royal Palm Beach now, but Jeff Talkman, he went to Arizona State University, and that's where I graduated from, but he's a little bit older than me. But he throws these amazing networking events out here, and he's like, that's his whole business is referrals. And he'd be a good person for you to connect with because that's all he ever does is like, so when he had his networking events, he would have us sit at the tables and he would say, okay, everybody needs to open up their black books and give 3 referrals to this person. So like if I came and I'm a lead generation person and I need to connect with roofers, then he would be like, okay, who do y'all know that has a roofer friend in your business? You need to give those contacts to Jenna. And so you would not only go to his networking event,
you actually get some, you're
you would
guaranteed.
Mm,
business, and then he would send you the email list for all the people that attended. So you'd walk away with an email list too. So like that's the power of referrals is getting business and connecting. So like that's amazing that you have that set up.
Yeah.
You bring up a great point about networking events. So many times I go to an event and it's like so awkward, right? You're in the corner, you're like, do I want to go to these people? You're having a rough day. It's like you don't want to have like all these icebreakers. Like I get sick of going to a lot of networking events now. Everyone invites me. I'm like, I can't go to another one and just have to go through those uncomfortable conversations. And I like when people like Jeff, just make it a point, like sit down, like talk to your neighbor, and they just take the awkwardness out of it, right? Is exactly what we're doing here in a digital form on Owwll, just like taking the awkwardness out of calling you, right? If I'm driving, to my office at 8 a.m. in the morning and you make yourself available for $10 for 10 minutes and I call you, like, I'm never going to call you out at random on your cell phone, right? Or text you, like, hey, let's jump on a call at 8 a.m. But now you're like, you're probably going somewhere at 8 a.m. and you're like, why not have a conversation and connect versus just listening to music or a podcast? So we're doing the same thing in here. So I love when people are just like really like just separate themselves from the pack. Don't always just follow, like, let's just go to a bar and just go in a circle and talk.
I feel like that's even just with your tips and social media. Like that's what I see with you guys and just your event and going that extra mile. And that's why I was like, we have to have them on because there's so many like followers out there and people that are just like talking the talk, but not really like following. Well, I guess not follow, but not following through, like talkers that aren't following through. So
and I'm the first to admit I have a long way to go.
Me too. I'm still learning.
So I didn't want to like get too niche into social media strategy because I feel like I can't back that up personally. I've seen a bunch of other business accounts do it. And I've been like aware of it, but I haven't done it. So I don't want to give advice on something I haven't personally done,
And so few have, right? I think we all look
but
at
even
others
just you
out there
saying that is like so much
it's
better.
under 1%.
So many people won't even say that.
It makes it look like it's a lot higher than 1%, but when you look at like the amount of people who have done what you're saying, it's 1% or less, right? It's just that we keep pointing to the same accounts, and a lot of times we see others, but it's often fake, right? It's purchased accounts. Like she said earlier in the show, it's like her friend went from 1,000 to 10,000. We know so many people that do this for a living in marketing, and like they hire these agencies. And then the agencies don't tell the user, like, that's how they're really doing it. And it's just like mixed in with like fake followers.
See, and I'm so naive. I'm thinking that like nobody does fake followers anymore.
Put in place, like trouble's coming to a lot of people, right? There's laws that have been put in place that eventually they're going to knock on users' doors and they're going to get fined and they're going to get in a lot of trouble.
And their accounts are getting
just because Instagram's allowing it, well, if it's illegal, right, you're going to get in trouble. You can say, well, they allowed me to do it, or
like your account
I hired the marketing company. Well, guess what? You knew what the marketing company was doing. You could tell on your engagement that there were bots in the comments and the likes are coming from a different country. Like, what's going on here? Like it doesn't add. And those business owners are smart enough to know. So it's going to be interesting the next 12 months if the law really is taken serious, if they really are going to start finding people.
A good way to protect yourself on that, of if you hire the agency and they're going to promise you following and things like that, is actually, if you are going to do a paid shout out, you definitely need to go on private, and that's how you can tell if that person's following is real or not. So it's like, okay, I'm going to go on private.
Them.
And you get a shout out. I've done this before.
What do you mean go on private? Like,
okay, so you take your Instagram account and it goes on, you take it from being public and go on private, and then you get the pay the shout out from the big
and then you can
Instagram
go
account,
each follower one by one,
and then they'll shout you out, and then you're able to see all of the people that request you. And so like this one girl gave me a shout out. She's a model in Miami, and she told me to go private, and so I did, and I gained like 5,000 new followers from a shout out from her, and they were real people. So that's a way that
you had to like accept 5,000
no, actually
people?
you don't. So when you go back to going
public, it just
public in, it automatically.
But how did you know that they were, just because they request you, that means they have, like, bots can't request or something?
So you
like
can
that?
tell, you can tell in the pictures.
So you click on the person's like
you went through each person
and you look, do they have a photo, do they have zero
person
following,
Got it.
right? It's
But
like a blank profile.
That's kind of one of my little insider tips is go, if you are going to pay to get a shout out from a company, then go private and then hold them accountable. And if they say, oh, I can't have you go private, because I don't think the bots, I don't think the bot accounts.
That's a really good
work.
tip. See, no one has ever told me that
that's
before.
really good.
So that's my little insider.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, we're wrapping up the end of the show. It's bedtime. Last few minutes, we place a bet with our guests.
Bet time.
I
almost forgot my favorite.
Let's use the chat forum in some capacity. I like this. Make each of them post on the chat forum.
Okay.
At some point today, right? And we'll tag some people for the event. I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
So just mention the event. Obviously, we're not supposed to be doing self-promotional posts on here. It's designed where we post and then they call you, Or,
Okay.
opposite,
Or
opposite,
do you guys
call them.
are you looking for any more sponsors or anything else for the event? Like what, or are you pretty much all set? It's been a couple weeks.
We're always open. We never say
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
to
I
business,
mean,
you
we
know?
don't necessarily need sponsors to provide anything for us. If
Yeah.
people want to put their marketing out and be a sponsor, that's fine. But ideally, I just want to make a big contribution to the charity.
Yeah.
So even if you can't come to the event,
Or maybe if they
making a
just posted like
contribution.
looking for other women
That's what I'm saying.
Or
entrepreneurs,
attendees,
and then
yeah.
like just so it's like less sales, whatever, and then just who like let us know other women entrepreneurs that want to build their confidence and level and tag them,
Yeah.
and then they all
Do
get
you want a free headshot?
yeah yeah
I
yeah
feel like we could
So
always
I'll tag a
go
bunch
for
of people
photos.
then
Yeah.
in South Florida.
yeah me
right?
too.
And
I have
would
so many
benefit.
people.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I wanted to do one more tip that because I did this the other day and I just wanted to share it before the end
Absolutely,
of the
go
podcast.
for it.
If you are going to post a video on Instagram as your reel, you have the capability to tag people and then to add people as collaborators. But what I found is that if you tag some of these bigger celebrities, like maybe some mentors you look up to, like, you know, maybe Gary
For me,
Vee, Tony
artists,
Robbins,
anything, yeah,
or,
yeah.
your favorite
Like every
music
time I do a
artist.
cover, I'm like, I tag that person. They're not going to share it because they never do. But
tag
Yeah.
them, because one day I did that. I was like, these are the people that are inspiring me right now, and I listed all of the 10 women that inspired me in this season of life, and I kid you not, like 6 of those ladies that I tagged went and looked at my story. So
Oh,
then they're like,
nice.
oh, they know who
Who's this
Jenna Quinter
person?
is now today, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is awesome. So like,
yeah,
obviously you don't want to abuse it. You don't want to be like annoying to somebody,
Yeah.
but like tag your person you look up to,
Yeah.
and who knows, maybe they're gonna check out your stuff. So
I'm always like,
Yeah,
is it
like for
them
you,
though,
like,
or is it their team?
the 10, I don't know, most influential CPA financial books that you need to read today, or like the best financial podcasts that you need to know
yeah,
of.
tag all the
And then-
authors.
Yeah, and different things like any YouTube people that you follow that do. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, if you have your own YouTube,
I feel like
you'd promote yourself.
It's best
but
to do like almost like the medium-sized people as well, because it's like, for me, like,
Mhm.
if you're gonna tag like Billie Eilish, she's not gonna watch it, but like
yeah, micro
someone that's
influencers.
micro, I feel like you have a chance of really like they really are looking. It's not their
Mhm.
team like looking at your story, so that's cool.
Yeah. And just, people are willing to connect with you if you know, you just gotta like get their attention.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, what's this bet?
Okay.
So, okay,
Explain the
back
bet,
to the
and
bet.
then we'll do a
So it's just basically we ask you guys to do something, and if you complete the task that we asked you, then you get something from us.
Ooh.
So that could be, well, what I mean, I guess it's more up to him, but it could be, what do you want to give, Jason? Because they already had, it could be maybe doing your own episode, using our studio and doing your own thing here. Just you can get it for free and do whatever you want in the studio. That could be something. It could be Owwll merch. It could be, what else?
I love
Wanna get-
freebies.
They could use our studio after their event.
That's what I
They
Wow.
could pick, 6 other people to attend with you and
Mhm.
do a live call-in show. So what we do with South Florida Tech Hub is they do a studio takeover every single Tuesday.
Mhm.
What we do on the Owwll app is we put them as a group, right? And we put their group right at the top. So very simply, the rest of your community could call into the show.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
you could say we're going to have these 6 females, right, at this studio. It doesn't have to be said like the
Sounds
Owwll
fun.
Podcast, so it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
we're not really involved.
And you could
You're just
put
saying,
your
well, we're-
logo or your
Yeah, it's easy.
event photos on the screen. Like,
Wow.
so that could be a thing. That's an option.
Nice.
Or if
Okay.
there's
Love that.
something that you guys
Yeah,
think of, like we want if you want an introduction to someone, Jason has a lot of contacts in that, just in a lot of different fields.
I feel like I need to think about
So
it.
yeah, you can
Kinda
think
like
about
on the
it.
spot,
I
but I like the
I like the
being able to
studio.
come
Yeah.
use the
I think that's
studio.
amazing.
Yeah. So if you guys
Oh, I can't
complete
find it.
the
I'm trying to-
task
Amazing.
that we ask of you, which is that writing in the chat, downloading the app, go in the chat forum, do the thing, then you will get that from us. If you do not complete the task, then we get something from you.
Okay.
So I don't know what I mean, for me, I guess it could be like maybe like I get to bring a friend for free to your event or something.
You can get that already.
Yeah.
We need
Well,
something harder.
no, I don't know. maybe you
Ooh,
guys.
Rusty,
Oh, I
you're
have
Rusty
one.
over here. We
I
haven't
have
done this
one.
show in a while.
I
We
have
used to
one.
come
I
up with
have
these
one. I
bets
have
all the
one.
time. So go.
No, it's
I was just trying to find
it would be
the feed
like
over here. I
that
found it finally. That's what it looks like. We kind of look at that lucky number 11111. Today's
ooh,
guest. So
Lawrence
we pretty
Gartels
much
and
put your group up there like that. So that way we schedule it out. Then if we do it the right way, you get your 6 other guests to stream to their accounts in advance. So that way you get massive distribution. Like today's show went to like 12 different accounts all at once.
Amazing. Thank you
So,
so much.
Yeah.
And then all their feeds, it's not so much about our feed, it's their feed. So Mauricio was on and he had like 30, 40 comments on his LinkedIn account, for example. But then it's just cool. Like people are calling into the show. If I click on this one, and this literally was today, like this is how it looks like once we're in the studio. If this loads nice and slow.
So I know what we want from you while we're waiting that to load.
Okay.
It's not working.
Waiting.
I was thinking of some ideas too, but
I was
let me
thinking
know.
like since you guys are so good at like social media and like
Right.
websites and all that, like maybe just like giving Owwll, like our brand, some like tips like and marketing and like just because
doing
we're
like an audit or
yeah, like an audit of like our social media and like some ideas of like what we could do like just as a brand.
like
to-
your website.
yeah,
things
yeah.
you could do.
Because I feel like we just made our new 2.0 update and now we're like just we don't pay for marketing. We
I can
just
help
like
you with
come
your
up with
offers
everything.
too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My
So
focus is honestly all inside the app. So like I'm not spending as much time outside the app. Right. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean Steph
Steph's
is more
doing
the social media.
She's
Okay.
doing more
More of a
outbound.
network
She's doing more.
lady that
She's director of the
sends
brand
voice
ambassador. So
memos.
she's doing
Okay.
more like inside the app calling folks. And then, we have 50, 60 brand ambassadors. So like our
Wow.
focus is like focusing with them, but then deploying strategies really to them. Right. Because we give them stuff, but it's hard to really make them do stuff. They don't work for the brand, but we have to create like more contests, more creative strategies, without just deploying too much capital, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like working with us on that aspect on the marketing end to create creative things.
Yeah.
To
Yeah, it's like a value exchange.
build
Yeah,
energy and
exactly.
Yeah.
just consistently have them want to participate, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of
So yeah, just marketing help for us. I guess.
Yeah.
It'll be-
Absolutely, yeah. I
What do
could
they
come
have
up
to
Especially
do?
with the both of us, if we're both
I
looking at it, we
know.
could come
Like,
up with
ooh.
a big list.
So what do they have to do?
It's all
What's the
about
bet?
the
You never
offers,
said.
too.
No, I
What
said
is the-
they have to. We said they have to go
a
and
form?
post in the chat forum
Okay.
about
forum.
in their event, and then maybe also they both have to take or make 3 calls before Friday on the app. Make or
Okay.
take 3 calls before your event.
Yes.
I mean, it's really going to help you because you'd be like, hey, you can search South Florida,
Yeah.
call women, and invite them to the event on the app.
I
So
love that.
Okay.
it's yeah.
We'll have to walk through that together just to make sure.
Yeah, yeah.
that-
Well, I'll show you guys how to use
Mhm.
it. And
You know what? There's this cool app and it's like to help blind people. And so sometimes I'll get a random phone call. I know this is kind of out of the
yeah.
ballpark. I'm very
I'm like, huh?
No, it's
Yeah.
okay.
So there's this app and somebody random will call you and you have to answer it and then you help somebody guide them to their location.
Oh wow.
And so like I totally will just call somebody from the app. It's a little scary. It seems
Yeah.
like when to call the strangers,
but
but like
yeah,
I'll do it.
The thing is, it's not with our app because there are people saying, "Hey, call me." They want you to call them.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
live. It's not like you're bothering them. They're live for a reason. They want to connect. They
Mhm.
want to make money from a call. They want, so
yeah.
it's not as scary because I always feel like
It's
I'm
probably the
bothering someone.
reverse. It's like you go live to get a call and you're like, I'm not getting any
yeah,
calls.
exactly.
Why is no one calling
exactly.
me?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So I
People
totally
are happy to
will.
receive calls. Yeah.
I might have a little toddler in the background,
That's okay. People do
like
that.
giggling and
Yeah.
and whatnot, or who knows, depending on the day.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Were we gonna
Well,
shake on it? I don't want to.
Of course.
Let's shake.
Nails
Let's
on
do
camera.
it.
Deal.
Go. It's the deal.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's like I feel like we
Deal is
just need to
made.
do a cheers. Even though
Yeah,
I don't have any
true.
coffee.
Yeah,
I
cheers.
know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bling, bling.
Do it.
Cheers. Cheers.
Hey, take us home, Daniel. Ellie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Whatever. What's my name? Sorry.
Ellie, Danielle.
Changed my name.
Oops.
My
Ellie.
brand name. Yeah. Whatever you want to call me. It's okay. Okay. Well, I guess how am I taking it? That's it.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Make sure that if you live in South Florida, make sure that you follow these 2 ladies. Do you want to just share your Instagram handles and then how they can register for the event?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, Jenna Quinter, JennaQuinter. And you can visit confidenceandcharity.com to purchase your tickets. And it's a donation, so it's 100% goes to the charity.
And what time is the event on Friday?
11 to 3.
11 to 3. Okay.
Starts at 11. And it's in South Beach. And the website, because Siri always messes it up, confidence and 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 charity. A lot of people kept saying in like I am.
Oh, yeah.
So confidence and charity, because it's both.
Doesn't help with my accent.
And you can find me at Amanda_Mower, but Moore is spelled M as in Mary, AWER. It looks like Mawer. So
Yeah, that's what I was-
Amanda_Mower. Yeah. It's
Perfect.
English.
The more
so.
you know.
It's literally,
Love All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. And
Thank you for having us.
can't wait to
It's been
see
amazing.
you on the
This
app.
Has been the best experience ever. And I
Yay.
really
Yeah.
appreciate
Really
y'all
appreciate you
having
guys
us
inviting us
here
on.
and giving us this platform. It really means a lot.
Mhm.
Cool.
Amazing.
All right.
Well, happy Tuesday.
I'm happy to connect with y'all. Woo!